Welcome back to the Gentleman's Gazette. Today I'm here with Antonio from Real Man Real Style and Centeno.
That's true.
As well as Nate from Paragon Fragrances. Thanks for coming over, guys.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
We thought we'll do a little fun thing here and play some blind smelling and testing. And of course, we have our special guest, Professor Preston.
Hello, everybody. I will be adjudicating the test today, but the conversation will be up to these three.
Awesome. Well, let's get started.
All right. I will go prepare your first fragrance. Feel free to talk amongst yourselves in the meantime.
Yeah, so Paragon Fragrances. How did you start, Nate?
I started about 2 years. I'm on my second year doing this. So I just was collecting fragrances and I was like, I'm a production guy, so I'm usually behind the camera, but so I just decided let's make a fragrance channel and start talking about some of the fragrances because after you collect and collect and collect and you're not making content, you're like, what am I collecting for? And so you just want to start sharing with the world. So that's what I was doing video production, just making fragrance content now. So,
and I mean, you went, in my mind, above and beyond the general, like, ooh, I smell a fragrance, I do stuff. You really try to understand the fragrances, and tell us more about that.
Yeah, I really wanted to provide as much value to my audience. If you're clicking on a video, I want to provide as much value to you as possible. So I try to keep my videos short, and I even got into actually crafting and making perfume, try to understand it. I'm not a master perfumer by any means, but I'm slowly understanding and developing my skills as a perfumer.
All right, Preston's back.
Okay. Fragrance number 1. Here's a tester for each of you.
Definitely on the lighter side. What do you think, Antonio?
Fresh, clean.
Synthetic, natural.
I feel a bit synthetic, but I don't think that's a bad thing. I mean,
I think with synthetic, what you get is like the consistency, right? It's like a Big Mac. You know every time what you get versus if you have orange oil I don't know. It's a little drier this season. The whole thing smells different.
well, I think there's a misconception in fragrances that somehow if something is natural, it is better than synthetic. And it's comparing, it's just not a fair comparison. When, any of these, what we're talking about are chemicals and the molecules and the way that they're, as we talked about, there are actually exposure to too much, is always an extreme is a danger. That being said, in small amounts, I also love synthetics because if you think about with a lot of the natural compounds, they had to come from animals or we were destroying plants or like you said, they were inconsistent in making them. And so when something uses synthetics, we're able to oftentimes produce it at a lower price. Mm-hmm. You're able to maintain consistency and you're not doing any harm, to the environment in that respect.
What do you think? What do you think, Nate?
It's good. There's a lot of floral stuff going on in here, like neroli or like some kind of nice, fresh, lively stuff going on in here.
All right. What do you think? Grading and
Take a moment to write down your letter grades, any other thoughts or notes you have. If you have a guess about what the identity of the fragrance might be, go ahead and write that down. And when everybody is ready, I will collect all that data from you.
it smells like a darling fragrance, kind of a. To me, it's more of a mainstream thing.
Yeah, it's a very light and airy.
It's not offensive. No one smells this.
Yeah,
like, ooh.
Touch of like a jasmine kind of ness going on in here.
Oh, yeah, that's good. I wouldn't have been able to identify that, but now that you say it, I smell it.
And then like petitgrain oil, very like fresh and light.
You can tell who the expert is. I play an expert on videos. This guy is the real deal.
But it's very like white florally kind of style with soft, clean laundry musk in here. It's nice. It's really good.
I will not deny that your descriptions have affected how I am practicing on those. I'm like, oh yeah. And that's what's interesting
It's going to
about
look really bad if if the fragrance on screen is like a spicy one, it's gonna look.
I don't know which
awful.
one this is because I naturally would never be drawn to these type of fragrances.
Yeah.
So this would not be in my rotation. Also, I think the grades we're assigning oftentimes are like just our personal opinions. This may be the right fragrance for more of a guy maybe that goes for classic scents, or it could be more feminine, but all fragrances are actually unisex. We just usually, for marketing purposes, assign them whether it's for men or women.
Oh yeah.
So I'm guessing the house. I'm not going to guess the particular brand, but I could see this house putting out this fragrance.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, gents.
Yeah.
All right.
So I'm saying the house of, or I'm going with Flores. I just like something classic, something that was formulated 70 years ago, worn by a guy that's dressed well, but would not. I don't know. It doesn't smell masculine enough to me. And a B because I just wouldn't keep it in my collection.
Good. I have no idea what this is. Good. All right.
And everybody's scores one more time, just so that we get that verbally as well as on the boards.
Oh,
Yeah.
B plus or B minus.
B minus.
B minus.
B.
B.
Yeah.
Very good. Next up, fragrance number 2.
All right. Sample number 2.
Number 2.
What do you think?
A lot of petitgrain oil in here. It's coming very bergamot heavy, lemon.
To me, it smells very classic, a little like old-fashioned.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something I would
This is
wear.
class. This is real class.
I mean, it's
Summertime class.
old school, right?
It's very similar to the other one too.
It reminds me of childhood. Growing up in Germany, they had like the 4711, and it has these vibes to me. Antonio, would you wear it?
No, not at all. In fact, I changed my grade from a C to a D.
I think that this one is pricey though.
Yeah.
Because it does smell natural. Like you can smell the bergamot, you can smell the citrus in here, the nice florals, and then a soft vetiver in here too.
I smell floral, but I don't think it's nice.
Yeah, it's a.
And now that you say bergamot, I'm like, yeah, it smells like a bit of Earl Grey.
Yeah.
That's bergamot flavored, right? Good.
All right, let's everybody present our whiteboards and see what we've got here.
Let's see.
A D.
All right, not high marks for this one. All right, number 3.
So there's a specific musk in here that they're using, tonulide. It comes across as this laundry detergent kind of style musk. And they use it a lot in perfume, like modern day perfume, but I picked up that initially. It's very classic. I'm trying to put the name to it because it's so familiar, and it just needs a.
Well, and really, like, this is extremely hard to get it right because, I mean, there's so many fragrances.
Yeah.
There's no, it's like, unless you are just very familiar with something and you're like,
Yeah, I'm not gonna try to guess this, but it's like a Richin and Broxen.
I'd wear this.
I'm going specific. It's like the 1 in 100 chance, but I'm going to say I'll go for that.
Call your shot.
Yep.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
I'm going with a B plus.
A.
A?
Yeah, I think it's really good. I like that Broxen kind of style smell. I really like that.
Tell me more about Broxen.
And Broxen is
It's Ambroxen?
yeah, so it's a synthetic version of ambergris, which is whale vomit, pretty much. Whales when they eat squid would destroy their stomachs. So they would coat their stomachs in this this like phlegm or whatever it was. I
Yeah,
don't
well,
know.
well, it's the sperm whale when it eats the whatever the squid. Squid have the only hard part of them is going to be the teeth or the pinchers, whatever it is, and so they can't digest that. It ends up getting encased, and then it is spit out, regurgitated because it's just not going out the other end.
Yeah.
And that right there is then found on beaches, and it has certain properties. But a big part of this that when you find, and it's very valuable when you find these.
I
on
would
the
guess.
beach. Yeah, they're hardened, and it basically it projects fragrances. It helps to,
And it lays on top of the ocean, so it's like oil on water. So it just lays on top, and then what they can do is they can harvest it. I don't think that they do that anymore. I think it's very regulated. That's why they came up with Ambroxan and to kind of recreate.
Again, that's where synthetics are great because we can recreate. Although, and again, this is where you're an expert in molecule breakout. What we find is with compound or with natural molecules, and some of you guys I know are scientists, so you're like, Antonio, you're messing this up. But basically, the chain is going to be really long on naturals. But on synthetics, they realize that it can be relatively short, and we can pick up, or for most 98% of people, it's going to smell the same. But a small percentage, and I'm sure you're one of those people out there watching, that you're a nose that you can pick up. Oh, I can tell the difference between, that small, between vanilla and vanilla. Like, the natural vanilla definitely has a long chain, but vanilla, the synthetic note, is going to be much shorter. And it's, again, we can consistently produce it. So that's why you see the synthetic pop up.
Very good. Thank you for that whale of a tale, gentlemen. I'll go get fragrance number 4.
I like this guy.
Preston is our pun master.
Yes.
So that's his jam.
That was. Can I rate that? That was good. That's 10 out of 10.
Yes. For Preston?
For Preston.
All right. Are you ready to kind of cleanse your nose with coffee beans?
All right. So do you want to jump in?
So I'm not no scientist, and I'm not, but from what I know, it just causes more stress on the nose when you're resetting it. And my theory is, conspiracy theory alert, my conspiracy theory is coffee is very addictive. So if you're going to, like, say, a fragrance counter, like, a nice lady or a nice gentleman's showing you some fragrances, and you spray something on your hand and it smells good, but then they put something that you're already addicted to under your nose, you're like, this automatically smells a little bit better. I don't know. That's my conspiracy.
So the halo effect here.
Yeah, I think
it could
so.
make you like something. So apparently there was a perfumer 50 years ago, 70 years ago. That was his thing, is that he kept coffee grounds, and he would say it would reset his nose. But the reality is that's not the case. If you've got, when we're talking about olfactory fatigue, the idea that you're exposing yourself to so many smells, usually 2 to 3 perfumes, if you expose yourself to that within a few minutes, you need to get out of that area and just go out for a walk, 5 minutes, fresh air, and then you can probably start again. But anyone that thinks they can smell 20 perfumes in an hour and be able to tell the difference, yeah, you're fooling yourself.
Well, good luck to you guys then.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you, Preston.
Number 4.
All right, this is...
What's the sweetness?
So heavy vanilla in here.
But with vanilla, I realized you can get real different vanillas.
Yeah.
Started making ice cream with the beans, and then there is differences in what you get.
There's 2 different types of vanilla that I'm working with right now that are vanillin, which is like a crystal vanilla, and then there's ethyl vanillin, which is a powdery, and it smells almost like cake kind of vanilla. And so when you, like, from my experience, when you overdose like ethanol vanillin, it smells like a thick cake. But when you dose in vanillin, it acts as much more of a crystal fixative, like coumarin, that kind of thing. This is so familiar. It
is, yeah.
I mean, you guys have a lot of fragrances, so even if you smell it once, it's like...
Yeah.
Well, the way is like literally I'm going through the fragrances in my shelves, and I'm thinking, okay, is it that one? Is it that one? Is it that one? So I'm using the memory here. It's got a bit of a spice to it, so...
Yeah, slight spice, and then...
I'm gonna, and because of that, I've got to... I think I know what it is, and because I know what it is, I'm going to give it a little bit higher of a note.
Yeah, it's nice, and it's something that, like, it's so familiar, and it's something that I would wear, so I most likely have this. I feel like I know what it is. Yeah, I know what it is.
You better not copy mine. Like,
Mhm.
don't look here.
All right.
I think I
I didn't
got
look.
this one.
All right, gentlemen, your grades and your guesses, please.
C minus.
B plus.
I'm going A minus. If it's the one I think it is, which I can't believe we got to make you guys wait to the end of this video to find out if we're right or not. But I think that this fragrance is perfect for the holidays, and that's what it reminds me of. This is a great, cold weather fragrance that you can put on. And again, when we're smelling things on these fragrance strips, it's not the same as actually smelling it on your skin. And that's where it's going to react differently for every person. But yeah, as soon as we started talking spice, hint, hint, I was like, okay, I know what this is.
Yeah.
All right. I will go prepare number 5.
So if you haven't picked up, no fragrance is going to be universally loved by everybody.
Oh, no.
Yeah, which is cool, makes it enjoyable, and I think gives us a lot to talk about in fragrance content. And yeah,
It's also like if sometimes you can be unique with your clothes and you can be unique with your scent. Like you can intentionally say, I don't want to smell like everyone out there.
Yeah.
I want to be different. Or you're like, I just go what I like. Or what my spouse, partner, husband, whatever likes. Right?
and fragrance is one of those things that it is, it just plays right with clothing. I'm sorry, no, you're about to.
No, yeah, right to that point. Like, I find making fragrance content is tremendously difficult too, because you're recommending it to everyone. And so, like, that's where you have to have, like, a strong opinion about what you like to wear, because if somebody connects to you and if you don't like it, they might not have the same taste. So it's a tricky thing to navigate.
I purposely stay vague to confuse all of you that watch my videos, and you're like, what does he really mean by that? And that's my tactic.
Number 5.
Smells more green to me. I don't know if that fragrance kind of colors, but to me, there's something green there.
So this also has a musk in here, synthetic musk called Havetalide, which is it's widely used in Sauvage kind of style fragrances, like that sharp Sauvage character, and it smells like it's a top musk, so it has a high volatile rate on it, which like pushes off through the air. That's where like evaporation rates come in and stuff, where the top, middle, and base. If something has a lower evaporation rate, it would be a base note. And if something has a high evaporation rate, like bergamot, say, it only lasts for about 2 hours or 1 hour.
So you're saying
The musk
this is a kind of fragrance that is, you'll notice in a room, it gives off a lot.
Yeah.
But it also lasts for a long time.
Yeah, this is like, I'm pretty sure I know what this is. But yeah, this has stain power.
There's a sweetness in there to me.
Yeah,
at the end.
It's really sweet.
It's too sweet for me.
Bergamot, like sweet citrus. I'm pretty sure I know what this is, but I could be wrong, and I could be totally wrong.
All right, go ahead. What are your scores and guesses here?
I have B, and I say like green Irish tweed. Antonio B.
I can.
What
It
do you have?
doesn't, for me, GIT doesn't smell like that on it, or it doesn't smell like that on me. But I can spit. Do you get a lemon verbena in that? Like
A little bit. I think it's Creed, the new Creed, Absolute Aventus, or the Aventus Absolute.
yeah,
Yeah, it has this kind of green. Oh,
oh, I see that Creed is pretty much everyone's like it has a, and this is where I think we can talk about a house. Like I think Creed in general, a lot of their fragrances have that light, airy, fresh type of type
They
of
have
fragrance,
they have a very signature style. Like when you spray on a creed, even they have a bunch of different, styles and different fragrances, but they all have that kind of same vibe to them, which is that high quality.
You
Which is
continue to
cool.
discuss. I'll go get fragrance number 6.
I'm going to put the cologne, Creed cologne.
All right, this is number 6. Initial thoughts here?
I like this one.
Clean and
Yeah.
soapy.
Soapy, that's it. Soapy. Man,
Which is
you're,
usually-
you're good.
Which is usually going to be what? An iris or a, what's the,
It could be like, I don't know exactly the formulas and stuff to make it something like that, because I'm still learning.
lavender and iris? Don't they-
Lavender usually, lavender and this, if you mix a soft spicy, usually they can do it with frankincense. If you add a touch of frankincense and a few other things with some clean laundry detergent musk like toniolite or galaxolide, ethylene brassylate, those kind of things, you can get this like soap-like quality. But this is good. It's very soapy
Yeah.
and fresh.
It's almost too much soap for me.
Yeah. I think this could benefit from some sweetness, but yeah, I like it. Little woody nuances in there too, but I think it's good to see.
Ready?
Yeah. E plus.
C minus.
Yeah. I like soapy
I think we're all-
fragrances. Yeah, I'm going a little bit higher. I think that soapy fragrances are great for the office. If you want something that's not going to offend anybody, smells good, clean, and anything, I don't know, lavender and iris.
Yeah, I don't know if there's so much, because it doesn't come across powdery, but like a nice soap, like
I'm
a
gonna
Dove
throw out.
bar.
I'm gonna throw out like Prada Homme, or
Yeah, Prada L'Homme.
or maybe the Intense.
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe one. And again, it's like smelling it on the stick. This is where you got to be careful. I would maybe not pick this up, but I know with Prada, I think those are great office fragrances. They use good ingredients, and yeah, that's what I'm guessing.
What is your wife like?
I don't care. I wear for myself, man.
I'm like learning perfumery. I'm not like an expert yet, and I haven't even released one yet. And I'm just learning the process and falling in love with it. But there was this process that I came across, and I told Antonio about it the other day, called tinning, and it's a process that they use in wine creation or like winery. And when you're making wine, there's all this like particles that are floating around in the wine, like pulp and those kinds of things. And from my brief knowledge about it, they use egg whites they pour egg whites into the wine, and it acts as this glue substance to bring everything down to the base where then they can filter it. Why I bring this up is I made a big batch of my fragrances, and it was cloudy. And so I used this clay to do the same thing, this tinning process, where I pour clay into the perfume, mix it around. It's a natural clay, so it's safe, and they use it in a lot of cosmetics. But
Like bentonite clay?
yeah, something like that. And then you mix it around, you put it in the freezer, because it's alcohol, it doesn't freeze. And then you can, it all seeps to the bottom, and then you can filter it from there. But I thought that was really interesting.
I don't know. For me, this is synthetic. But
When I smell this, I think of chartreuse, like the color. I don't know why I have this association.
Synesthesia, perhaps.
There's a marine aspect in here.
yeah, but for me, not really high-end marine. Again, I'm just guessing here. I know where I'm going with this, but I'm gonna
Yeah,
go with
this is a
aqua zone. So, if you think about it, how do they get a marine smell into a fragrance? Because it's not like you can take the ocean and squeeze it. Well, you could, but what you're going to get out is probably not. And marine smells are complicated because, yes, it's the salt and it's the air, but there's also, if you're close to the shore, there's decay.
Mhm.
There's so
most of the aqua notes that you find are 100% synthetic, and they have to do with a molecule called Cologne, and then helionol, which comes across as this like watery, almost like hay-like quality. And then you have
with a bit of fruit as well, or like there's a melon on the
you add in some nuances on top of that to give that fruitiness in there. So you'll have accords that you add to the perfume to kind of like expand it out. But yeah, it's usually a very synthetic mix.
You got my guess, but
I'm not sure about this. My nose is getting beat up here.
Yeah.
Well, we're just about at the halfway mark here, gents.
But this is like very ozonic, like a light blue, Dolce & Gabbana light blue kind of thing.
It's a light blue smoother. Like this is, and there are certain houses out there that are kind of a little bit more well known for being synthetic, and they embrace it. Not that I feel that this one fits in there, but Paco Rabanne is a great example of. But with that synthetic, it's usually for a younger crowd. They want something that's going to pierce through the night, be able to draw people in. The area where I think this falls is going to be Azzaro. And it's a great, inexpensive brand that I think they've got a wide variety of very easily accessible fragrances, that one of them in particular. What you're going to find on those cheaper fragrances is they're going to cut back on the oil. As you guys probably know, when you hear like EDT, you hear EDP, parfum, eau de toilette, eau de parfum, usually it's the concentration of the oil mixed in with the alcohol. And they mix with alcohol because with the oil, they come together, it macerates, and it's easy to project onto the skin. But more expensive, like niche fragrances and the parfums and stuff, they'll use a higher concentration of oil, and that oil then will allow the fragrance to last longer on the skin and project more, in theory. Now, it doesn't always happen.
The problem is it's a bit like super numbers, right? Where
Yeah,
it's like
true.
there is no like standard where we're like, hey, eau de parfum means, at least 10% oil concentration. Like we don't have that. So it's every house
I created an
defines it.
infographic. I'm like, why doesn't the world follow my infographic?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Antonio's standardized.
I try to standardize things, and people go like, why are you trying? Yeah.
All right, I'm going to ask for your grades.
B minus, C minus.
You are a tough critic, Raphael.
Well, in Germany, when I went to law school, you have these like grades, right? And you can get like...
That sounds like a not a very happy place.
Yeah, it wasn't a happy place for me. But
You discuss. I'll get number 8.
Yeah.
The grades, and I forget, I think the grade was, the highest score you could get was 18 points. And sometimes only the average is like 4. So they grade really hard.
Yeah, I moved into, like on my fragrance channel, I moved into rating things from like 1 out of 10, but I do decibel points. So,
1.1?
Yeah, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. So it kind of gives somebody a little bit better understanding of like where I would put it. Because like a 7 out of 10 would be, that could come across very, but if it's a 7.4, it automatically, you see it kind of leans over to the, 6 a little bit more. So,
Do you find that on different days you'll have a different grading?
oh yeah, absolutely. And too, there's fragrances that I love 1 month, and then as I wear them, I'm like, well, this is not really great anymore. And then I'll let my audience know, like, hey, don't really like this one anymore.
All right, number 8.
This is classic.
It's bold.
Mm-hmm.
Or this is number 8.
Number 8, correct.
So Nate, when you, having all these oils, so do you just have these oils at home that you then combine? And do they go off when they're not stabilized with alcohol?
Yeah, so I'll order my raw materials in, and then I'll dilute them down in alcohol at 10% concentrations, and sometimes like 1% concentration. Some of the more volatile materials that like are so pungent that you only need just a drop. But yeah, I'll dilute them down, and then I'll smell them from there, because then you can smell them more accurately when you're dosing them like really low.
You got a grade for yours?
Same as you.
Well, write it big, like
All right.
because this is. Oh, I love that. Bigger than mine. Okay.
A minus. A
Yeah.
minus.
I like strong masculine
Yeah.
fragrances. Maybe I'm trying to compensate for something, but I love when I wear this stuff. It's just
It smells like a really high quality fougere fragrance, like
Mhm.
patchouli, frankincense in here, lavender, some green aspects in here, like a touch of a basil.
I think it's the Roberto Ugolini 17 Rosso, but these are the fragrances I'm most familiar with.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
Yep.
'cause I smell them a lot. So I may be wrong.
I-
I may but
I put the second cousin to Yves Saint Laurent's chorus, so that could be. You know, like,
All right, gentlemen, we have reached the halfway point. How are your noses holding up?
good, good. Let's power through.
Great. All right, with that, I'll go get number 9. All right, here is number 9.
Stinky. Or skanky, I should say, not stinky. If anybody wears this, I'm sorry.
but are you really?
No, if you wear this, don't come near me.
Yeah. Well, what is that? Like that? This thing, I can't tell, but it's like
It's
What's the animal note? The like it's not musk, but it actually comes near the.
it's
near
a
the,
musk.
It's near the butthole of the animal. It's like literally there's a gland that they used to extract this from. Which again, why not? Naturals are not always a great thing.
it's almost like who had the idea to go there to extract that?
Would that be from the civet musk? Is
Yeah.
that okay?
Well, civet is actually the note. One of the notes they call it. There's like 3 animal notes that I've heard.
Yeah.
Thank you, Professor Preston.
Yes,
I do what I can.
Look at this. The assist right there.
Ooh, yeah, this is like heavy patchouli, heavy castoreum. I think it's castoreum.
Yeah.
This is like,
Do you think this was popular?
I hope
Ever?
not.
All right. Let's put our grades.
F.
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 A.
A. That's like
I like wearing animalistic fragrances. Yeah, it's just
what is it triggering you?
sex.
Simple enough. Next up, number 10.
I smell this one.
Prison.
Hey,
Thank you.
Picking almost a hemp note,
I have no idea what hemp smells like.
like a.
Or so he claims.
Yeah, no.
Got it? Yeah. On this we can agree, Raphael, I think.
Oh,
Yeah.
DDF.
Yeah.
Not high marks for this one.
I really didn't pick up too much. And so that sometimes a lot of people don't like a fragrance simply because it doesn't project or doesn't have much. And when people spend money, especially someone getting into fragrances, they usually equate value with projection and power of the fragrance.
Like hit it over your head kind of thing.
Yeah. So this one could be a great fragrance, just not.
It comes across very like sour patchouli kind of smell, and it has this subtle aquatic note in here that it just, I don't know, it doesn't really balance that well on the paper here.
What's your experience? Sometimes taking like the exact same formula and having it like 20% oil, 10%, 5%. Does it lead sometimes for you to say, "Ooh, I like it," and I don't?
That's a great point with like concentrations and stuff. With people think that the eau de toilette, the eau de parfum, and the parfum, though that's where you get better performance with the parfum, but that's simply just not the case, because it's all the way that the perfume is constructed. And parfum, eau de parfum, it's merely for branding purposes, because you can, the way that they're crafted, you can, like with an elixir, you usually use denser materials, more base notes, but we see it nowadays with all these brands coming out with their new elixirs, they don't last, terribly long, and they're putting the elixir, branding on it. But it comes down
'Cause
to
elixir branding is supposedly something that lasts long. It's like
it's the pure form of the oil, but usually these elixirs are 20% oil concentration.
Yeah.
So it usually comes down to fixatives, which make fragrances last longer. Fixatives are like Issey Super, Hedione.
like stabilizers.
Yeah,
right?
and they're almost like they're solid form in room temperature. So ambroxan is a crystal when it's in room temperature, but when it's diluted down into, I just scared him out of the room.
I know.
All right, I didn't want to interrupt your previous conversation, but we are now on to fragrance number 11.
It's like a lighter, summery.
Where are those coffee beans? Need those coffee beans. Oh, I need some coffee. This is just like a clean suit, clean guy. Soap qualities.
It's not very adventurous. It has less soap than the other one, the number 6.
This is the smell that like wafts into your office when you know your boss is here and you're like trying to organize your desk really quickly. It's like, we're in trouble now, boys.
So would you say it's something classic like?
My general thing is like, I think this is like a eau sauvage, eau de toilette kind of thing. In that kind of general realm of things, like nice fougere.
If it was like an eau fresh
Yes.
mixed with another 50% alcohol, it would be like, because this,
I lost
don't
the
know,
eau
I'm not picking
sauvage.
up, yeah.
I had a bottle, I think, to spray it. Just malfunctions.
Mhm.
Okay. But yes, you're right. It is similar to that.
That like nice, airy, citrusy, light kind of stuff.
All right, are we ready for letter grades here?
Yep.
Oh yeah, I gotta erase this F here. Let me think.
But this is also the fragrance that, in my experience, wouldn't last very long. You put it on, and a few hours later, it's like you can't tell anymore.
Yeah, this is a spray before you leave, and then once you show up,
Reapply,
yeah,
kinda.
once you show up, reapply. But very classy, nice and light. Let's see.
C.
B. I'd
B.
probably wear it.
Very good. Next up, number 12.
So, Antonio, how did you get into fragrances? I mean, I've known you for a little while, and you're an analytical guy. So, what was that like?
No, I didn't wear fragrance for the longest time. We obviously talked about style at Real Men Real Style. For me, growing up in the Midwest, Midland, Texas, like nobody wore like fragrance. It just wasn't seen as. Actually, I did receive, like when I was a kid, Stetson and then Aspen, and I'm sure somebody's dad had Dracar, and Polo. You start to get in the Marine Corps. I noticed people start to wear fragrances.
Like the Polo Green, you mean?
Polo Green, Polo
the blue
Red.
wasn't
That was
around,
pretty. Yeah, those things were popular in the 2000s or around some of the guys. And so you would see guys go out, spray something on. But I always stayed away from it. I just thought if you're showered and clean, you're perfectly fine. But then I started hanging out, got to know Jeremy Fragrance. I was in Germany, and he gave me, what was it, Acqua di Gio Profumo Special Blend. He had the extra one. He's like, hey, check this out. And I met with him at St. Jeremy again at Artisan Pure. We were at the Varvato store. And I got a St. So I started getting, Viktor and Rolf sent me Spicebomb. So I started having some of these laying around, and my son really got into them. And I started saying, this smells really good. So I think it was those fragrances, that 3 right there, that I started wearing and getting into, and I really did like them. And I'm maybe a little bit obsessive with things, so I'm like, okay, if I'm going to get into this, I just justified that it's like a college education. Every time I would buy a fragrance, I would go to a website, Fragrantica, and research it, and I just kept doing this. And it was, next thing I know, some of those fragrance videos on the channel did pretty good, and it went from there. Went from 3 fragrances to 600 within a couple of years.
That's usually how it goes.
Yeah.
All right, number 12.
What I found though is, once they reach air, right? Once you start pumping, after a while, I remember I had an old Polo Blue for the longest time, and after a while, it just didn't smell like it used to at all anymore.
So there's a note in here. It's a synthetic note called dihydromercenol, and it's heavily used in cool water and green Irish tweed, that kind of thing. That it's almost kind of like a lime, lavender, fresh, airy kind of note.
I smell a lime.
But it comes across super clean, and it's they used it a lot in the 90s for all their fragrances in the 90s.
Which is, stylistically, right? 90s are making a big comeback, whether it's like, I don't know, the Shaq Reebok shoes or like the jackets. Do you see kind of a 90s resurgence in the fragrance world?
Yeah, with this kind of DNA, I do. Like, this stuff kind of makes it come back a little bit.
All right, are we ready for grades here?
A.
It's I say B plus here. It reminds me of like a bit of the Montblanc Individuel.
Yeah.
All right, very good. We are entering the home stretch now. Just 4 fragrances left to go. So I will go prepare number 13.
So you think that was GIT? Yeah.
It's either GIT or cool water.
But the cool water, I mean, yeah. When I remember when I smelled the Green Irish Tweed and the cool water,
Probably. Or,
they smelled similar to me.
Yeah, they are.
I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure the perfumer, and I apologize, I forgot his name or her name, but the perfumer that put together Green Irish Tweed was the same person that put together Cool Water, because Davidoff hired the same perfumer because they wanted that kind of fragrance, and then he reworked it specifically for Davidoff to meet their price, because perfume it's all about price, per kilogram.
Per kilogram,
And
which is 1,000 grams.
yes, and some brands need a lower threshold or to stay within their budgets and stuff. But
Well, and that's how a lot of scents are oftentimes designed, right? It's like you have a price goal, and then you go to your perfume as a price goal. Please do this, and then they go for that.
but I could be wrong if those are the two same perfumers. So I'm not.
Yeah. Thank you.
We need a fact check.
That's lighter.
Yeah, very light.
To me, that's more of a, like one of those. Sometimes these English scents have like lime or like something like this.
Heavy lemon in here.
Yeah, that kind of. I often find them. There are all these. What is it? Florists, Penhaligons, all that stuff. They have these. Sometimes, I don't want to say simple, but more straightforward.
A lot of it is coming. This is not like a guess because I know this is not it, but like a Dior Homme cologne, like with that nice bright lemon.
They do a
soft,
really
clean
good
musk.
job with that.
Yeah.
And with those brands you just mentioned, they've got formulations. I don't know if they're using the exact same ones, but they've been around for 100 years or 150 years. And, fragrance at that point, when they started this stuff, it was pretty simple. It was,
When you put it on your like handkerchief, so when you walk through the street and it smelled, it had something that smelled better than
No,
your
Raphael, that's
surroundings.
what the peasants did. She's like,
Let's see.
no.
Look at this. We're like
I think-
almost the
yeah.
same.
Yeah.
C minus C.
Who had the C minus?
I did. Yeah. Here you go.
I haven't failed anybody. So
Yeah.
you've
I always like the kind of the different aspects of it, and learning and just, I'm impressed by your ability to just say, it's this, right? Because ultimately it's like you practice, right? It's like there's talent and then there's practice. And even if you don't have much talent, even with practice, you can get to a really high level. And then if you have talent, and then, but you need to smell it.
What I love about creating perfume is like, you're never an expert. You're never at the top of your game. Like, you're always learning. And even the top perfumers are always learning, and they're always researching new materials. And I'm the same way. I always try to research, smell stuff, order samples in of molecules and smell them. I never want to try to come across, I know it might come across sometimes, but I never want to come across like I know it all, because I simply don't. And it's just memory, going off memory. This is Green Irish Tweed.
No, I think it's
really.
I think that this one to me is cool water.
Now that you say that,
this is instant. Like,
it's like my wife is like, when I put this on, she's like, oh. And now that you say that, I think you're right. I said I thought Green Irish Tweed was number 5 earlier, and I don't think that anymore. I had written that down, but you're right. Even on the 12, I said Montblanc Individuel, but potentially Green Irish Tweed.
Yeah, this is like very noticeable. But I said Green Irish Tweed for the other one, so
12.
I'm already failing here.
Yeah.
I am failing, and I could be wrong here too. But
now that you say that,
very noticeable.
Yeah.
Purpose of this video is to make all of you feel like failures. Yeah.
Yes, that's the purpose.
But yeah, it could be cool water because it is very pungent and potent.
I just feel Green Irish Tweed.
Personally, with the Green Irish Tweed, I don't like smell it and I'm like, I love it. But because Teresa loves it, I definitely wear it.
Right, letter grades here.
B.
C. B+.
Yeah.
Very good. 15 up next.
How much do you think is the formula, like getting something that no one is offended by, and then the marketing behind it and the brand in kind of pushing something?
I think what's really interesting about perfume is I look at it as all marketing, because nowadays with a lot of formulas nowadays are usually like Sauvage is like 25% ISO super, usually 20% musk, and it's Hedione too, and it gets you all the way up to about 80%. All of these like ISO super, Hedione, musks. Dihydromercenol is a very popular one with like Invictus style DNAs, like that nice fresh sweet, because dihydromercenol is a very potent molecule, and so if you add that in with sweetness, you get this like pungentness, volatile. But
do you think Creed is doing it much marketing, or is it just have that strong brand that carries it?
I don't know what Creed is doing, to be honest. Because I really don't think. I could be totally wrong here. So if somebody from Creed is watching this and they get upset at me, this is just the take that I've noticed with my viewers and stuff. But a lot of Creed fragrances don't perform that well. And if they listen to their audience and listen to the people that are wearing their fragrances, they want longer lasting fragrances. So readdressing that. And I don't know, they could be doing that. From a consumer point of view, I don't see it. And from hosting a fragrance channel, I don't see that they're making strides for that.
All right, some thoughts on fragrance number 15 here before I ask you for your letter grades. Any impressions of this one?
No real impressions on it.
It smells a lot like the
crowd pleasing kind of to me. It's
green. It almost has like a Green Irish Tweed kind of thing going, but
it's lighter.
It's lighter. It's much lighter.
You get any florals with that?
More green aspects, like yeah. I mean, I would not be shocked if there's like a touch of a lily of the valley.
All right, letter grades.
I think B's good. B's.
B minus, C minus, B. Okay.
Raphael, your grade was
B minus.
All right. Okay, here we are. The final fragrance, number 16, coming up. All right, number 16.
That smells unusual to me. No idea what it is.
I feel like this last one is getting the end of our noses.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is nice. It's coming across, I don't know, I'm picking up like Roja Dove, something like a something or other.
It's very old school.
Yeah, it's got Roja's kind of style on it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously, you guys, you have a lot of stuff and you try a lot of things. Sometimes when I walk into my thing, like, oh, today I feel like this. And another day I don't feel like that at all. Do you have that sometimes? Or?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about
Yeah.
that. Like when you have so many fragrances, you're like, what do I want to wear today or wear this? And I oftentimes like struggle, like, oh, I like them all. But, one of the things with talking about this, we have the luxury of there's always new fragrances coming in. So I'm like, I'll just wear what's new.
Yeah.
I always like to make a joke out of it. I like stand back and put my hands on my hips and like, I have nothing to wear. This
All
has
right.
that Havetolide musk in there too.
Letter grades for the final fragrance.
What'd you put?
B.
C plus?
C plus?
B.
B.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, gentlemen. Well, now comes the big reveal for all 16 of our fragrances. I hope your noses have held up okay.
Yeah, let's
And look at how many notes I took.
yeah.
All right, so let's start back at the beginning with fragrance number 1. This one got an aggregate grade from all of you of B, so starting off fairly strong. I was a little cheeky with this one because for number 1, I went with CK1 from Calvin Klein.
Nice.
Okay, number 2, with a aggregate score of D+, was 4711, which Raphael guessed correctly.
It has very distinct, like, old smell.
I've never smelled this before, so
Oh, yeah?
yeah, it's nice.
I think Raphael had the advantage being German on that
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
So. Number 3, with an aggregate score of B+, Bleu de Chanel.
That's surprising.
Number 4, aggregate grade of B, is Viktor and Rolf Spicebomb. I think we had some correct guesses on that one.
Yeah.
Number 5, aggregate score of B+, was Creed Aventus. I think we had some other Creed guesses there.
Yeah. Okay.
I went with Aventus Cologne and you went with
What-
the-
Absolute.
Yeah, it's
Aventus,
funny. We all
Soleil?
go for the.
Was it just the standard one?
Yes, that was standard Aventus. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Does not scream Aventus.
Number 6, aggregate grade of C+, Tom Ford Soleil Blanc.
I don't have that one. So
Number 7, aggregate grade of B-, was Issey Miyake's L'Odyssée pour Homme.
Yeah, that was also big, like CK1 and Issey Miyake. I remember that. I had a buddy in, when I did my civil service in 2003. He had the Issey Miyake.
Number 8, with an aggregate grade of A-, which was the highest aggregate grade received today, was, I'm happy to announce, 17 Rosso, or 17 Rosso,
Got it
by
right.
Roberto Ugolini. It's a good thing Raphael guessed that one correctly.
Would have been funny if not, but.
Number 9, aggregate grade of D+, not a strong showing for this one, Polo Green.
What?
Number 10, aggregate grade of D-, which was the lowest grade received by any cologne today, was Givenchy's Gentleman.
Wow.
That was, which one was that? Number 9?
Number 10.
Number 10?
That's incredible. I did not. Wow.
Number 11, with a grade of B-, was Old Spice.
Oh, wow.
Just standard, good old Old Spice.
How much does
Number
Old
11.
Spice cost?
Not much. It's a drugstore scent. Okay, number 12, which was guessed correctly by Raphael, an aggregate grade of B+, was Montblanc Individuel.
Yeah.
Number 13, with an aggregate grade of C, perfectly average, was Penhaligon's Blenheim Bouquet. Guessed, the house was guessed correctly by Raphael on that one.
I mean, they just, you know, in England, they have these. I went with Jack Collins. We went to like a Penhaligon store, and so I smelled a lot, and I don't know. That was my association.
Number 14, with an aggregate grade of B-, guessed correctly over here by Nate, was Creed's Green Irish Tweed. Number 14. Number 15, also with an aggregate grade of B-, Davidoff Cool Water.
I think you got that one right.
I believe Antonio guessed Cool Water for number 14,
Yeah, I
which
put it
was
for
the Green
14,
Irish Tweed.
which was
So,
the DIT.
mhm.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Which is, yeah,
Similar fragrances.
They
from
are
what
similar.
I understand. Yeah.
I was just a little bit early.
so which one was the second? The 15 was the
15 was Cool Water.
yeah. I mean, they really smell similar here, but it's a huge price difference, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's like Cool Water's like $20, and then Green Irish Tweed is like 300.
And finally, number 16, also with an aggregate grade of B-, was Terre d'Hermès.
Ah.
The soil of Hermès. Awesome. Thank you, Preston.
Absolutely. Any final thoughts here as we wrap up the video?
I'll leave it up to you, gentlemen.
No, it's
See it now.
you know, it's going back to what you were saying about marketing and fragrance. I think marketing plays a huge deal with this, because if you order, say, a fragrance and you're blind smelling it like we are, we don't pick up things until they're shown to us. Like if you
There's no flacon, right?
Yeah.
There's no color. There's no packaging.
yeah,
It's all stripped out.
it's
Same strips.
it's paper.
Like we have a collection of maybe 80, 90 fragrances.
Yeah.
You guys have 600.
Yeah.
So I probably knew that these were out of my realm of fragrances. And so the 17 Rosso for me was very distinctive because I've smelled that. This one I wasn't so sure. You see, I had like Green Irish Tweed on it as well. And you know, then when you said that, it was like, oh yes, that's right. But I would not have guessed that.
But
And-
the other thing too, I haven't smelled most of these, so you know, I have a lot of fragrances, and
Yeah.
it's like, you know, that just shows you how many there are out there, and it's like it's impossible to smell everything. And
Well, and I would not have known, you know, Polo Green or Old Spice or whatever.
I know, that's shocking. We
yeah.
tore that apart.
I gave it an A.
Hey,
the Polo one.
Yeah, Polo Green. I
Polo
gave
Green.
an A.
F. Yeah,
You
that's
guys-
true. Yeah, that
yeah.
was. So if you enjoyed this really good analysis by Nate, head over to like Paragon Fragrances on YouTube. And this guy has Real and Real Style, but Centeno is, I didn't know for this about a while. How long
Yeah,
did you
yeah.
have this
I
channel?
kept it secret.
Yeah,
Yeah. We've had it for like 3 years.
And it's
Yeah.
shorts only?
Just shorts. It was just an experiment. You know, I've got a main channel, which Real Men, Real Style, but yeah, the Centeno channel was just to learn about fragrances. And obviously, I have a lot still to learn.
And with that name, I mean, come on. That's,
I know.
that's
yeah.
ideal.
Yeah, we had someone on our team, Jane, she came up with that. I was like, that's good.
Did you trademark it?
No.
Centeno? I mean, come on.
No.
All right. Well, thanks to everyone for joining us. And in conclusion, smell you later.
See you.
Nice, Preston. Oh, good.